Everything on the table will be included in your I-CHAIR kit. So we have the 2 push rims, the 2 counterbike wheels with the sternly archer hubs, and the U-frame that fits around the back. Also in the kit will be the axle adapter for your wheelchair and the cable tensioning kit for the sternly, which includes this component here. The tools you'll need are 2 cone spanners, an adjustable spanner, a 22mm spanner, a 17mm spanner, an 8mm, a 10mm and a 4mm Allen key. The first step is to take your wheel and your axle adapter, thread the bolt through and then screw the axle adapter onto the wheel itself, like so. You might need the adjustable spanner to hold on to the axle here. And once that's on tight, make sure the flat side of the axle here is level with the top of the axle here, the axle adapter here. Okay, so then you need to do that to the other wheel. Both the adapters are on. It's important to ensure this contact nut here, which I'm using the cone spanner on now, is up tight to the adapter. So, feel that grip. And then it's a simple case of mounting that onto your wheelchair. So in goes one. And then on goes the other one. Once you're happy with the position of those, take the nut of the adapter set. Again, you'll need the adjustable. Make sure that fits. And then that screws up onto the bolt like so. This is where you'll need the 22 spanner here, just to tighten those up. The wheel's now in place. The next step is to take the push rims. It's important to note here the pattern on the middle of the push rim. You'll see that at one point here there's a narrower and then a wider tooth, and that corresponds on the hub here to where there's a narrower and a wider gap. And then that fixes on like that. Then you need one of the lock nuts from the sternly kit and screw that into place. Once the push rims are in place on the wheels, you need to take this U-frame component around the back of the wheelchair and then slot the dropouts onto the axles of the hubs, like so. Once it's in place and you're happy with its vertical position around the back, you need to take your 17mm spanner, 17mm spanner, and do the nuts, ensuring that there's one nut either side of the dropout. Go on, that'll do. Once the U-frame's in place and the nuts are tightened up, the next part is to put the tension in the gearing cables for the I-CHAIR hubs. The first step of this is to insert this rod into the centre of the axle, making sure it goes all the way in so you can't push it in anymore, and then start to turn it to lock that thread on the end of it into place. That will become tight at a certain point. After that, you take this little screw-on nut and thread it all the way down this thread. These two components fit together like so. That slots over the end and then into the kink in the L shape. This then is very loosely threaded onto this component here. Just a few turns will do. After that, you need to take this bolt here and thread it onto the cable with the flat side pointed away from the sternum hub itself. This then fits in this gap here, like so. And then you take the nut that comes with it and screw that on tight. The adapter is in and tight. Take the end nut and thread it through the middle of that and do that up onto the axle. Like so. And this should be fine, just being finger tight on the end of the hub. Then take this nut and thread it all the way down. So now you can see that's how the gear pulls out of the hub. Then you screw the two ends together like so, so it forms a single long component with the cable in place here. Before we put tension in the cables, we need to affix this in place underneath the gear shifter. This stops the cables from over tensioning when you change gear. This works by inserting like so underneath, and then the bolt passes through the U-frame and it, and then this just tightens into place like so. For this part, you need the 10mm spanner just to lock that into position. There we go. Then the cable rides underneath it. So now you can pull that up tight with your hands. Once that is in place like that, take the 8mm spanner and tighten this nut up properly. Then it's a simple case of screwing this up tight along this until the chain just starts to pull out. Then your gearing system is in place. The shifting then works just by clicking down once and then twice. That will give you the lower, second and third gears. And then up again.